energize you guys, slows you down a little bit. But this next speaker will wake you the fuck up, I promise. Intentionally slated for right after lunch because like to be psyched, I have no idea what this motherfucker's gonna say. He's not gonna hit me with money. This wouldn't be wise, Tim should apologize after the fact. Everyone in the back, let's have a seat. Let's get everybody back in the zone of focus, back in the zone of genius. I feel a really cool office tour. Badass. So, think we all good up there? All right. So our next speaker, this guy is, God, I consider myself one of the greatest salesmen I know, but this motherfucker is one of the greatest salesmen I know. I didn't say you were better than me, I just want you to know that. There was a distinction there. But has created a crazy successful business. Training entrepreneurs, has had crazy success as a loan officer. His story is so dynamic from, I don't want to give away all his details, but he'll give it to you. But talk about, he's been through so much shit, and the fact that he's where he is today, I think he'll leave you speechless. And anyways, you ready now? Everybody get on your feet! Get on your feet and make some noise for Ryan Stewman, the hardcore motherfucker. By the way, it's not water. It's not water. Yeah, it's not water. Is it on? Man, how cool are the graphics that they have up here? Like, I don't usually think of myself as cool. I'm like, really, man, this is fucking cool. How awesome is that? So, we're going to be interactive this afternoon. Is that okay with you? Yeah. What? Yeah. Thank you. I know you get fooled. They brought me in after lunch for a fucking reason. Right? I want you guys to keep your energy levels high, because when your energy levels are high, you're receptive to new information. I'm going to give you some new information like the dude said. New information has come to light, man, and I'm going to share it with you today. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to think back to the first time in your life somebody told you you couldn't do something that you know you could do. Raise your hand when you get it in your head. Come on, think back to the first time. Hey, I'm going to make everybody raise their hand. We going nowhere until people raise their hand. I'll turn this fucking car back around. I got kids, you know. So the reason why I want you to think of that is because for years that was my fuel in business. Everybody in my fucking life told me, you're going to wind up being on drugs, you're going to wind up being a drug dealer, you're going to wind up in prison. Fuck, were they not right? It was almost like they were prophetically speaking over my future, you know? It's like, this child here, he shall wind up on parole for his entire 20s. And I had this chip on my shoulder because of that. My whole life, you know, at a young age, I was adopted. I dropped out of school in the 9th grade. I didn't finish high school. By the time I was 19, I was dead. So I think I've been through just about every experience you could have, right? By the time I was 19, I was dead. I woke up from being dead at 19 to being incarcerated at 19, and I did 2 years in prison. And got out, cleaned my life up, became the best car washer in the world. Man, I could fucking spit shine your fucking Mitsubishi that looked fly as hell, man. I was the best. I just didn't want to go back to that place, you know? I worked my ass off in a car wash, and finally a regular customer came in one day, and she come in all the time, and she said, I'd like to give you a job. And I said, you know, I got a job. And I was pretty thankful for the job that I had, considering my previous job was working in the prison kitchen. And in the late shift. It was a terrible job, right? We had to feed 6,000 people. It's fucked up. So she said, I'd like to offer you a job. And I was like, you know, I got a job and blah, blah, blah. And she had a nice car and she had a Lexus. And to me at the time, that was like next level nice, you know? I was some broke car wash dude working for about $12 an hour. And she said, I'd like to give you a job. And I said, listen, I got a job. And you ever had somebody in your life try to offer you something and you, for some reason, don't feel like you're worthy of it, so you turn it down? And then a while later, you're like, fuck, I should have taken that job. Right? Like, we've all had that opportunity, you know, that we turned down. Well, I tried to turn it down. She was a closer. She said, well, why wouldn't you want to come work for me? I didn't even tell you what the fuck I do for a living. And I said, if it ain't washing cars, I don't know how to do it. You know, it's just, you know, other than prison jobs, I don't know what to fucking do. She said, well, I'd like to teach you how to do finance. And I was like, well, you know, I can't spell it, first of all, 8th grade education. Second, I got no credit cards, and I own that truck over there for cash. I just don't think I'm good at finance. She said, no, I think you do a great job. You always ask me for more money every time I come in here to the car wash. I think you do a great job, you know, in sales. And I was like, yeah, I am a good salesman. I'm the top car wash sales guy. I don't think there were any other ones, so I'll just claim that spot. You know? So, yeah, nobody sells more than me. I'm the only sales guy here. But anyway, so she says, no, really, I will teach you everything that you need to know, and you'll be a millionaire. And I said, man, here's the truth. I'm a convicted felon. And, you know, it's a prison for selling drugs and shit, and I just don't think that I'm a fit. She goes, you'll be fucking perfect. This is even better. You have no choice. This is your only chance, motherfucker. Right? And so I took her up on the job. I still remember that day. I walked into the car wash general manager's office, and I set the keys down, and I said, I'm going to become a loan officer. It's like, I'm somebody's bitch, damn it, right? Like, I was like, I had this, like, motivational feeling. I'm going to become a loan officer. And they're like, we'll see you back in about a month. Right? We all have those people in our lives, right? You tell them you're going to do great things. Like, how many people in this room, just honestly answer, have been to, like, some MLM event, and you got all pumped up, and you're going to leave and have a Ferrari and a fucking mansion, and you're going to sell potions and lotions to everybody on the planet, and you were going to save that shit, and then you go to talk to your first person, the person you trust the most, the person you love the most, the person who's supposed to believe in you more than anybody, and they're like, oh, that shit sounds stupid to me, man. Don't quit your day job. How many people in the room got that same response when they started digital marketing, right? Everybody told me in 2008, they're like, Facebook, what the fuck would we want to be on Facebook for? Like, I'm there with my sister and some friends from college. So I was like, your college friends losers? Eventually they're going to own a house. Eventually they're going to need you to do the mortgage on the house, right? Like, I was bought into this, but for a long time people kept telling me no. So I used that as fuel for a long time. My goal was to prove everybody wrong, and I used that, like, that anger and that rage to prove everybody wrong, man. It fueled me. Every time I got a new hater, it was like fuel units in my jet, man. I just would push harder and harder until one day I actually became successful. And I'm like, now what? You know, like, I wasn't mad anymore. I'm not a mad dude anymore. If you go and you read my Facebook wall, you go 3 years ago, you're like, this dude was angry, right? Now you're like, oh, it's Pastor Stewman again with this motivational message, right? Because money's the magnifier, right? The more of it, it's kind of like alcohol, right? The more of it you have, the more your true self is revealed. It turns out I'm not such an asshole as long as I got money. My wife now is like used to in the past, is like, you're grumpy. Do you need to eat something? Now my wife's like, you're grumpy. Do you need to go sell something? Usually, yes. And so, the reason why I shared that with you is because I've been there, man. I've been to where people didn't believe in me. But I walk out here on this stage, and I still can't even believe that I'm fucking here. You know, like, I live the dream that rappers talk about in their songs. Like, I live that fucking life, man, and I can't even believe it. You know, I fly here first class. When I get home, I have a house at 6,000 square foot, multiple $1 million, sitting in, like, some of the best land in North Dallas and in North Texas, and I own a Rolls Royce, a couple McLarens and shit. Every morning I wake up, like, who the fuck are you? You know? Because I still have this mentality in my head that I'm still this dude doing time, this little skinny teenage kid that died from cocaine that's doing time. And my biggest fear every morning when I wake up is I'm going to find out none of this shit's real. You know? But my big why now is to help people like y'all that are going through the struggle. See, my struggle might be different than yours, but we all go through the struggle. Like I said last night, to those of you who were at the dinner, the struggle is to distract you from focusing on what you get in your life. Because when you focus, you can have anything you want. And so I had to learn on, you know, how to change my focus. My focus couldn't be mad anymore because I pretty much showed those people to fuck off, right? And so my focus had to be something else, and it became to change lives. Because I have to say, you change your mind, you change your life. And so I just want to encourage you folks out there that are in the struggle, right? Man, I've been in a room just like this where I spent my last dollar. Matter of fact, the first time I met Billie Jean, I was at Frank Hearn's event, and I was speaking at Frank Hearn's event. I fucking spoke on the stage. Now maybe I can speak on the stage at Billie Jean's event, you know? And I remember walking up to the venue, me and my camera guy, Frank, we walked up to the venue, and I'm like, man, I've been here before. Where have I fucking been to this hotel before? And so I texted my assistant, and I was like, you've got to find out when I was at this fucking place, because I remember being at this place, it was driving me crazy. I just couldn't access the memory of my subconscious, you know. She hit me up. She said, "Oh, you were at Kit Clothier's event there." And I remember sitting in the audience, just like you are now, looking at somebody on stage just like I am now, thinking one day that's going to be me. And at the time, I had spent my last dollar to fly to that event. Like, I was fucking broke, right? Like, I've always invested in myself just like some of y'all. And I know that if I'll spend my last dollar on myself, then I'll work hard to get it back and prove those fucking doubters, right? Prove those doubters wrong. And so I remembered that while I was there for Kent's event, I smoked some weed here in California. You fucking guys out here got some good shit. You know? I don't know what was in that weed, but it made me grow like antlers out of my head. I felt like a fucking deer. And at first I'm sitting there on the couch and I'm like, wow, this is some really good shit. And then I felt my head and they were actually fucking there. Something was in that shit that made me all allergic. I had to go to the emergency room. My skull had fucking, I looked like a Tom and Jerry episode. You ever see it where like the mouse hits a cat and the bump pops up on it? I had that shit all over my face, all over my head. My body was covered in some weird shit. I don't know what the fuck it was. Anyway, I went to the emergency room. I don't know if you've ever been to an emergency room when you're broke in downtown San Diego. That place is fucking weird. Real weird, right? Like, I'm growing antlers out of my head. Like, at least I'm not as fucked up as the dude next to me with gunshot wounds, you know? It was fucking weird in there, right? And I missed the second day of the event. And now not only did I spend my last dollar to get to the event, I didn't get the information. And worse, now I got like $1,000 emergency medical bill. And they're like, and I'm like, so what's wrong with me? They're like, oh no. So then I got to spend more money when I get back to Dallas. So I've been through the struggle. And I just want you guys to know that for those of you, you don't have to raise your hand, but I know there's people in the audience right now that spent their last dollar. I know there's people right now that are spending night and day investing in themselves, trying to fucking figure this shit out. And I can promise you this, as a guy with a 9th grade education and an 8-figure net worth, I can promise you that it will work out as long as you stick to it. Every naysayer that tells you no, everybody who doubts you, everybody who tells you to go get a real fucking job, I've been told all that shit, and guess what? I make more money than all them fucking settlement motherfuckers. You know what I mean? Let them fall victim to the force of average. You don't have to fall victim to it. So I just want to say that first. I got a little longer than I planned. So they get me, they're like, hey man, can you help us save some time? Because this morning some people went over, so I won't be up here very long, but I want to help you guys. I want to leave you with something you can actually do. This morning, we had some amazing speakers. Let's give a hand to them. If you guys think that Billy and his team are taking great care of you down here, I promise you they are taking great care of the people up there. I mean, it's world-class service. I have an event in 2 weeks that I invited Billy to speak at. I'm like, calling my assistant this morning. It's like, look, we got to make sure Billy's room is really good. We got to make sure there's champagne in his room. We got to make sure that we buy food for everybody at lunch. Fuck, who thinks of this shit, right? He's like showing me up. So I had to readjust my game plan after coming here, right? But this morning, we had some amazing speakers, and they gave you a lot of practical advice. And to me, it seemed like one of them would come out here and talk about mindset, and the next one would come out and talk about marketing. Did that kind of seem like the pattern this morning to y'all too? And guys that have built amazing companies. You know, I always say this, when I was making like $30,000 to $50,000 a month, I thought I was fucking rich, man. You know, like I thought that I was like fucking the biggest cock on the block, you know? And then I started making millions of dollars a year, and now I wake up every morning, I'm like, fuck, dude, I'm poor. Dude, I got these fucking being in a room with these guys, listening to them talk, I'm like, fuck, is that even English? You know? Like, dude, they're saying shit that's way over my head, but I'm like, hey, that just proves that there's somebody else setting the bar and a level for me, right? But so they shared some really awesome marketing stuff with you this morning. They shared some really awesome mindset stuff with you this morning. That stuff's really important, but I'm going to tell you that none of that matters if you can't make sales. You know, marketing gets their attention, sales gets in their wallet, right? And so I'm going to help you get in people's wallet in an ethical way. I just say it because it sounds cool, but in an ethical way. But obviously, don't rip people off or pickpocket people, right? But I'm going to help you get in people's wallet. Make them actually want to buy from you. How many people would love that to happen? People like hundreds of people every day wanting to buy from you, right? If your neighbor's arm's really big and they need help picking it up, it's okay to assist them. Just be like Stewman said, to help you out here. Yeah. And so I'm going to give you a simple process that's worked for me to the tune of about $20 million in sales. Would you guys like to know that? Yeah. You don't have to be a good salesperson. So for those of you going, yeah, but he's the hardcore closer, get that shit out of your mind, right? For those of you that go, yeah, but he's been in sales office, like that doesn't matter either. I've taken housewives, right? And put them to work in my business, selling to people that run multiple $million per year businesses and been able to close them left and right. I've taken people, matter of fact, I would prefer somebody without sales skills because they're easier for me to train through this process because I know this process works. If there's one thing you have to think about, the people in this audience specifically, is we usually don't sell to dumbasses. Does anybody feel like they sell to dumbasses in here?
Oh yeah.
Really? Well, so, there's some of the e-commerce shit, things like that, you sell little widgets to people, but I sell marketing advice to smart people like y'all, right? And if there's one thing I know about smart people, especially business owners, people that are seasoned and everything else, all your typical old school, they bought Zig Ziglar tapes too. They've been to Tom Hopkins seminars. They've read Brian Tracy's books. So any kind of like sales, juju, old school shit that I could use, it's probably not going to work on them because the old takeaway clothes. I see what you're doing there. I've had it fucking happen to me a bunch of times, right? It's like I too can close sales, right? And so what I'm going to help you with today is something that doesn't seem like a conversation towards making a decision at all, but it's the most powerful sales conversation you'll ever hear. You guys want that?
Yeah.
All right, it's only 5 steps. It's real simple. You're going to hear continually through the day, and you heard a lot this morning on how to get people to see you, right? How to get people to reach out to you, how to market on Instagram like Cody was talking about, and all the social media stuff Tim was talking about. Isn't he hilarious? I never met him before, and I was like, that guy's a lot like I know, man. He's like, just no fucks given. I like that guy a lot. And so, we have all these people that are going to teach you. Billy's going to talk about it, so are some of the other speakers about marketing, but I want to help you dial in your sales. So it's one thing for somebody to hit you up on Instagram or Facebook or wherever it is, email, doesn't matter, text message, doesn't matter, for them to hit you up and say, hey man, I really like your content. The typical person goes, oh, thanks, man. And they just kind of let that shit go. It's like, appreciate it. Give me a fist bump, heart, a like, thumbs up, some shit like that. And we discredit that. But people are reaching out to us because they're looking for some sort of bond, right? Like when we send messages to other people, we don't just randomly send messages to strangers. We send messages to people that we look up to. We send messages to people that we love. We send messages to people that we want to connect with or have a bigger relationship, right? So when somebody's reaching out to you on social media, that's the fucking ultimate lead. And listen, I'm not, they're probably not paying attention to me. So I'm not knocking anybody that spoke this morning, but I'm going to change your mind a little bit, okay? It's okay to be in love with social media. It's okay to spend your entire fucking day on Facebook. Everybody else will stand up here and tell you, man, I got somebody who does this for me, and I don't really hang out on Facebook that much. Fuck, I do. Wax pays $8 million a year, right? Like, I don't have anywhere else. I can't hang out here at the bar and make $8 million a year, right? Facebook, I can. And so it's okay to be on social media all the time as long as you're doing it intentionally, right? It's okay to respond to every fucking message that comes in like Tim Sykes said, because I do it. And guess what? They all lead to sales at one point or another. Because at any given moment, there's 3 categories of money. You guys should write this down. They're taking notes. At any given moment, there's 3 categories of money. 5% of the marketplace can do business with you right now. Like, they're hitting you up. They're ready to fucking open up their wallet right now. 45% of the marketplace, the people in your sphere of influence, the people you're marketing to, are going to be ready to buy in the next 90 days. Another 50% will be ready to buy at some point. So there's right now money, coming soon money, and someday money. The majority of salespeople, the majority of marketers, the majority of people, period, focus on that right now money, which is fucking stupid. Because why? Because it's the smallest percentage of all the fucking money out there. That 90-day money is your big fucking window. Right? And so many people are trying to here's the link, buy my shit, and then they wonder why people don't buy their shit because they're trying to make right now money. But in our business, people look at us for about 3 to 6 months. Right? The first thing that happens, I don't know about y'all, but this is what happens to me. I show up, your news feed like, who the fuck is this dude with a fucking weird ass faux hawk and a fucking cowl there? Right? Why is he so red in the face? And why does he fucking look mad? First thing I do when I meet Metros this morning is like, bro, calm down. You're really intense. Like, my mama made my face this way, motherfucker. I can't fix this shit. It's broken. Had to deal with all my people like, why are you so mad? I'm like the happiest fucking guy on earth. I'm not fucking mad ever. Right? I fucking know I look mad. I don't know why I look mad. Fuck, my dad's ugly too. Fuck, it ruins the family. But so, most people will focus on that 5%. The real money's in that next 90 days. For me, it takes about 3 to 6 months for somebody to move past that. This guy's a douchebag. He looks angry. All this shit into fucking Stewman's smart. He's got his shit figured out. Those are really his cars. That's really his wife. Those are not rented kids that he runs around with, right? So we know how it is on the internet, right? It's almost the same as the multi-level marketing thing, right? When you tell them you're going to have a Ferrari, they all laugh at you or they all make judgments. You show up 6 months to a year later to Ferrari, they shut the fuck up, don't they? Right? And so it's the same thing online. We got to be, like Cody said, we got to be omnipresent in front of our people all the time, getting them closer to making that decision that they actually know, like, and trust them, right? Because that's what people buy from. And so once they finally hit us up, so many of us fuck it up. Somebody hits us up in the DM and they're like, dude, I really like what you're putting out there. And they're like, thanks. And they just let it go. What that really is that's a cry for help. It's a whimper, but it's a cry. Right? It's somebody saying, hey, I like your content. There's a reason why they're reading your content. What content are they reading? And once they answer that question, you can kind of pull from it what they're looking for. Oh, man, read all your leads and stuff. Awesome, man. What kind of leads you trying to generate? Right? You can start weaving them down this path. And I'm going to teach you guys my 5-step process for making this happen. Because if you're making videos and you're putting the ads out there, there's going to be people that look at your ads and don't click it and they go over and ask you the same fucking questions that are entering your goddamn sales page in your DM. Right? Like it fucking happens, right? It's like, look, I would have read the whole thing, but I thought I'd just come to you and waste your time. But look, you're not going to waste my time. I'm going to get paid for mine. We're going to have a sales conversation. It may not be 90 days before you close, but we're going to have a sales conversation. And so the way that I start off every conversation ever in my inbox, in my email, on the phone, this shit works face-to-face, message in a bottle, carrier pigeon, it don't fucking matter, right? The first thing I do is I ask somebody where they're from. Because when you meet somebody in real life and you shake their hand, you want to know their name, you see what they look like, you want to know where they're from and what they do for a living. Correct? When you meet somebody at a networking event, those are the things that matter. Your name, what you look like, where you're from, and what you do for a living. That's how we judge what we're going to give people respect-wise. Right? If they say I'm the CEO of a Fortune 100 company, respect goes through the roof. If they're like I'm the janitor at the local school, the respect factor's not there as much, you know? That's how we judge people as humans. A lot of people tell you not to judge, but it's like a natural thing we have, right? You shouldn't feel guilty for judging. But really what you got to do is judge and rejudge, right? People judge me as the douchebag with a red face, a line across his head, it's all yelling at him and shit like this. But then 6 months later, they rejudge me and they're like, dude, that's what the fuck he's doing. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask them, you know, where are you from? They'll say something like, oh, I'm from San Diego, California. The first thing I'm going to tell them is like, that's awesome, man. What do you do for a living? And I'm going to ask her, oftentimes I'll say, what do you sell? Usually it's a salesperson that set me up. I'll say, what do you do for a living? They say, oh, I sell digital marketing. I'll say, man, that's awesome. I got a client named Billie Jean who lives in San Diego that does digital marketing that's crushing it right now. Now, you don't want to lie, right? You don't want to lie, but maybe you don't say San Diego. Maybe you got a client in California. Right? Like, oh, dude, I got a client in California that does digital marketing. He's crushing it because what we're showing them is two things. We're showing them social proof that it can be done with their job in their marketplace right from the beginning. And what that does is twofold. It handles the objections they might give you later, such as, well, I don't know if it'll work for my industry or in my area. We've already handled that shit up front. Get it out of the way, on to the next objection, right? And they don't have any idea. They think we're just having a friendly conversation with them, which we are. But that friendly conversation is setting them up to where they can't give us an objection later. And so I say, yeah, you know, I've got a client, Billie Jean, who lives in San Diego, digital marketer. He's absolutely crushing it. You're in the right place, man. What made you decide to reach out? And this is where the 5 steps come in. This is C. It's catch. It's the acronym. This is C. This is clarify why they reached out to you. So I'm going to ask them, hey, what made you? This is the important part. There's not too much that's scripted about this, but this is the question that you do not want to fuck up. What made you decide to reach out to me? That's simple. That's the most powerful question in sales. Here's why. Hardest thing to get a human being to do is make decisions. Don't believe me? Go home tonight and ask your significant other where they want to eat for dinner. We need food to stay alive, and we still can't figure that shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's just Taco Bell or death. What the fuck you want to do? You know? But if you make a decision comes with intent, and intent comes with consequences, right? Like if I'm driving down the street, and I look down at my phone and I drop it and I swerve up on the curb and I run over somebody that's walking on the sidewalk, I'm probably not going to get in trouble, right? Because my intentions weren't to run somebody over. But if I see Doug, who owes me $25 from back in the day, fuck Doug, and I run his ass over, right? Then all of a sudden the same thing happened. I ran somebody over. The only difference was that motherfucker owes me money and I hit him, right? The intention's there. So people are scared of the consequences behind being intentional. And a lot of people just aren't intentional anyway. They just aimlessly drift through their life, right? They roam the desert like a Cain from Kung Fu. Remember that? I don't know. I might be a little older than some of y'all. So they don't have any intent in their life. So when you ask somebody what made you decide to reach out to me, what that's doing is that's leading them to show them that you've already made a decision. And again, it's such a casual sentence that it doesn't even register with them that they're making a decision with you involved, but it does subconsciously, and that's all that matters. Because to me, I find that if you can sell to the subconscious, you can get rid of all the objections and you can make them make decisions without the frontal end of their brain even kicking in. So I'm crazy watching about to make all your advice and shit. So, like, I don't know how he did it. The card came out well. So anyway, I would never do that to you guys. And so Billy made me promise this time. But next time, we got a deal worked out. And so I'm asking what made you decide to reach out to me, because I'm going to clarify why they're having this conversation, why they decided to reach out to me in the beginning, and I want them to know that they made a decision with me involved. Well, guess what happens? Anything that comes out of their mouth next implies that they did make that decision consciously to reach out to me, and even though it may not click in the front of their brain, it definitely clicks in the back of their brain. Now, there's two answers that you'll get to this every single time, like clockwork. I've had this conversation 10, 15,000 times in my lifetime. And there's two things. You're going to get the first person that's got their guard up. You know what I mean? They're afraid you're going to hit them with a sales pitch, so they put their guard up. And they say, oh man, I'm just looking. You know, just thought your shit was good, dude. Take it easy. You know, just looking. Just window shopping. Right? And those are the people that are going to be a little bit harder to crack if they're the best, because, you know, they're the ones you actually have to work for. Then there's the lay down sale. Yeah, somebody, what made you decide to reach out? Like, fucking Maria in the 3rd grade. You know, 55 years old and all my life. And they just start telling you their fucking life story. And a lot of salespeople try to interrupt them. You know, they'll start talking in the 3rd grade. By the time they get to the 6th grade, the salesperson's trying to interrupt them. Yeah, no, we can totally handle that, blah, blah. Like, they ain't even got the story out yet. Just shut the fuck up and let them talk. Do you realize that nobody listens to anybody anymore? How many times do you meet somebody, they tell you their name, you go, I don't know this motherfucker's name. Yes, sir. That's why we're all polite in the South. We call everybody sir because we can't remember anybody's fucking name. Yes, ma'am. So, nobody's listening, right? The wife don't listen to the husband don't listen to the wife, the employees don't listen to the employer don't listen to the employees, the kids don't listen to them. Nobody fucking listens anymore. But us, when we're trying to make a sale, I'm willing to listen for money, right? And so when you ask somebody what made you decide to reach out, they start giving you the long-winded version of their story. Just listen. Half the time, you don't even have to sell them shit. They're just so fucking thankful that somebody finally fucking listened to them that they're willing to be like, dude, if you'll listen to me all the time, you think how much money therapists make, right? And all they got to do is just fucking talk to me. You know? And listen, they don't even give you answers. What should I do? I don't know. Come see you next week. So we can take some serious work here. Earlier this year, just a little side note, earlier this year, I showed up to meet a guy here in La Jolla named Dr. George Pratt. Dr. George Pratt is the psychiatrist of Tony Robbins, Frank Kern, Dean Graziosi, Joe Polish, Rob Dearden, Phil Mickelson. Got some accolades, you know what I'm saying? So I called up old Frank earlier this year. I was like, dude, I'm fucked in the head. I need some help. How can I, quit being such an asshole all the time, right? He goes, I'm going to introduce you to the good Dr. Pratt. I'm like, okay. I go and I meet this guy. I fly out here and I go meet him. The first thing he says is, he goes, Ted. And I was like, I haven't been working out. I appreciate that. One or two, And he goes, no, Ted, you have 10 issues that we're going to have to get over in order for you to get through your bullshit and move on with your life. I was like, oh man, it doesn't sound so bad. He goes, yeah, the average person has 2. He's like, you're going to be here for a while. But it changed my life. So the reason why I say that is I paid a fuck ton of money for that guy just to listen to me, right? And people will pay money to listen to you. So the first thing is show them you care by listening to them. Doesn't matter if their story takes 30 minutes. If it does, good, because all you're doing is fact-finding the whole time anyway, right? You should be taking notes from the things they say, the problems they're having, the struggles they're facing, and take notes. And I like to put the phone on mute because I'm real talky, if you haven't realized that. And so I'll be talking to them the whole time. Listen, motherfucker, your problem is, and then I'll unmute it. Yeah, no, sounds great. Now, fucking infuse this thing, because I got to get it out. I can't just blow it up. I can't do it. I got to get it out. So I put the phone on mute, right? But I'm listening to them, right? Every now and then I'll unmute it after I'm done talking shit. Be like, no, man, I completely understand. God damn it, quit fucking talking. But I'm still going with it. And when they get done talking, here's where the A comes in for catch. I'm going to assign their mind to an agenda. I'm going to ask them some questions. And so what you need to do tonight, I get to be that asshole that gives you homework. But what you got to do tonight, probably y'all will be drunk tonight. What I would recommend doing tomorrow would be to write down 6 to 10 questions you need to ask every one of your prospects. I'll give you an example for the real estate agents when I teach them this. The 6 questions they need to ask somebody who comes into their DM or comes into their funnel or whatever are, what neighborhoods are you looking to buy a home in? What's your time frame? What's your price range? Do you need to sell the home that you live in? Are you pre-approved for a mortgage? And are you working with a real estate agent? Those 6 questions will give us an idea of where they're at, right? And from there, we'll know what we've got to sell against and what objections. So you need 6 to 10 questions in your business to ask everybody, because you're going to say this. Once you say, tell me what made you decide to reach out to me, they're going to give you the hands up or a long-ass story. You're going to, no matter how fucked up it is, they can be like, I got touched as a little kid and I can't get over it. Awesome. Well, here's the thing, right? So the answer's always awesome. It doesn't matter how fucked up it is. Awesome, because I can fix that, right? And so I'm serious. You can't fuck the flow up. You always got to answer awesome. Well, it could be a long. It is a pattern interrupt. It works. That's why I say I'll give you some simple shit, but it works. And you can laugh at me and doubt me, and I know that's funny, but you can laugh and doubt me, but I promise you this works, right? This is paid for private school for my kids. It's paid for nice cars, vacations, houses, real estate portfolio. It's paid for all this shit through this process. So I'm going to ask them to say, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to ask you to say, awesome. Here's what I'm doing. I'm going to ask you some questions to see how I can help you overcome that stuff. All I ask is that you answer them honestly. Meanwhile, if you have any questions for me, just interrupt me and ask me and I'll answer it. Does that sound fair? All of a sudden, we've got them to agree to an agenda, and we've assigned their mind to how this call is going to take place. You see, it's like walking into a doctor's office. You walk into a doctor's office, there's usually some lady in a pink nurse's uniform that gives you like a mountain of fucking paperwork that you filled out the last time. Y'all lose it since I've been here last week. Y'all fucking lose it already, right? They always want you to fill out more paperwork, the same shit that you have to answer, the same fucking questions 15 times. Then you sit down, fill it out, turn it in, and you just wait. And you be nervous as shit. You be like, dude, fuck, do I have herpes or not? It's like, fuck, I want to come in here and find out. I'm so nervous, man. What if it comes true, And so you go to the doctor's office, you're super anxious, right? Because they don't ever tell you shit. But imagine if you walked in the doctor's office and they were like, take this piece of paper, fill it out, it should take you 5 minutes. 5 minutes after you turn it in, somebody's going to come down that hallway right there. They're going to be wearing a green uniform. They're going to walk you to the back, 3 doors on the left. You're going to go in there. You'll be out of here in 45 minutes. All the anxiety would go down, right? Because you know you're on a schedule. They'd assigned your mind to an agenda. That's what we're doing with our prospect right here. So we're saying, let me ask you some questions, harmless, right? Let me ask you some questions, find out how I can help you. If you have any questions for me, just interrupt and ask me, and I'll answer them. Does that sound fair? We have to ask them, does that sound fair? Because we got to get them to agree to it. But what that does is that takes them from where's the sales pitch to, oh, it's just questions. It removes their guard. And especially the person that tells you the long-winded story, you could be extracting the questions while they're talking that you're going to ask to reinforce those pain points for them. And so the T, that's the A, right? So you're going to ask them, hey, let me ask you some questions, find out how I can help you. If you have any questions for me, feel free to interrupt, and I will answer them. Does that sound fair? The T is talk them through their pain. The reason why people reach out to you, the reason why people consume your content, the reason why people DM you is something's burning inside of them. Some pain is bothering them. But here's what most salespeople do. We'll go back to the doctor analogy. It's almost like going to the doctor, you're like, Doc, my elbow hurts. And the doctor starts like rubbing your crotch, right? That'd be fucking weird. That's fucking weird. It's not down here, sir. It's up here, right? But that's what most salespeople do, right? They go in and somebody's like, my life's falling apart. They're like, awesome, well, how's your finances? Right? Like they try to take them somewhere else. They're like telling you all about their elbow, and you're like, but your knee is so beautiful, right? That's what a lot of salespeople do. They avoid getting in the actual pain points because they're like, that's going to be painful for them. I don't want it to be painful for them. I'm fucking scared to have that conversation. But those 6 questions, when you're talking them through the pain, should be leading them up to where the same as if the doctor was feeling on the elbow and he finally hit the spot. You're like, fuck, that's it. And he's like, all right, you got acute, whatever it is, right? I don't know any medical terms. I tried to think of one really quick, just didn't happen. 8th grade education. I do not have a PhD or an MD, therefore I could not fucking make it work. But anyway, so imagine, them finding that spot. So that's what we're trying to do with those questions, And as a real estate agent, the questions that I talked about, It's like, what's your time frame, 90 days, what's your price range? If they say they're trying to live in like the La Jolla, we're looking to move to La Jolla, we're looking for a house for $150,000, like, right? Like, they're totally fucking off base. You gotta get their mind right on that shit. But it allows you to understand their thinking. So we're trying to get them to say, like in my business, I know somebody reaches out to me, not because they want to get better at sales, because they want to make more money. That's kind of it. But they also want to make that money for a reason. It might be to show everybody that ever told them that they were wrong, that they're actually right. It might be because they want to put their kids in a better situation than they were in. It might be because they want their fucking old lady to just stop bitching at them about being broke all the fucking time. It might be because they want respect from the community. Whatever it is, I got to figure out what the fuck that is, because that's what I'm going to sell. Right? Here's what my product does, but here's the byproduct of it is you get respect from the neighborhood. Right? No matter what neighborhood you live in, if you pull up in a fucking Rolls Royce, people will respect you. This is how you make that happen, right? Whatever their pain is that's been bothering them, that's burning inside, I have to get them to admit that. I have to be able to diagnose that just like a doctor and say, here's the problem. This person wants significance. They feel like nobody listens to them. They feel like they can't get any attention anywhere. They feel like they're losing a grasp on everything. How long have you been going through this? Right? Like, I have to start diagnosing these pain points with them to make them realize it as well. Because oftentimes, like, especially for us dudes, like, ladies, y'all are really in touch with your feelings. Like, you wake up in the morning, you're like, I don't feel right. You know, something's not feeling good. You know, with us dudes, like, I'll feel pain. You know, fucking pain. I don't even know what that is, right? It's like my hand on fire, give a fuck. Right? Right? Oh, is that a nail through my palm? I don't fucking know. I can't feel pain. Right? Because we're all conditioned to be these, like, tough guys. And so you have to work on them a little bit to get them to admit what that pain is, because oftentimes people haven't felt it forever. But when you can identify someone's pain, just like going to the doctor, when the doctor goes, here's your problem, you have a broken rib, thank fucking God. How do I fix it? And they don't, when they write your prescription, you don't ever go, well, how much is that going to cost? Right? You're like, okay, good, this is what fixes my broken rib, fucking sign me up, I'll pay whatever it costs. We know that's true. So people get sick with cancer and shit like that, they'll spend their life savings trying to stay alive. Well, it's the same thing. We can use that shit in our business too. It's like, hey, if you want all these things, here's a solution. So that's where the next C comes in, which is close them. Once you've identified that pain, once you touch that point on their elbow and they went, ah, fuck, that's it, that's when you make them the offer. Would you like my help with that? Would you like my help fixing that? Do you want me to help you stop that? It doesn't have to be a fancy closing thing. A lot of people think salespeople, they got this like fancy talk and these fancy words, and they're like really good, they're poets and all this shit. Fuck, you don't have to. It's like, hey, you want me to fix that? You want my help fixing that? They say no. The next logical question is, cool, well, how long are you willing to stand that pain? Right? Okay, cool. So how long have you been dealing with this? 5 years. So you willing to go another 5 years? You willing to go another 5 years and maybe figure it out? Or you want to go ahead and pay the money to get it fixed right now because I can help you. I know the answer. I've been there. Here's what's going to happen, though. The person on the front end that told you that, you know, oh, I'm just here checking things out, they're going to give you some objections. They go, well, but, right, insert bullshit excuse, right? Well, I would, but I need to talk to, you know, about to get up, whatever, right? And so you make them the offer. The person that talked a long time, the long-winded person that said, well, it all started in the 3rd grade, they'll usually say, okay, cool, yeah, I'd like your help. How much is it? It's pretty fucking simple close with them because the reason why they were telling you their story is they want a fucking solution to their problem, right? The other person's still willing to live with the pain. So the other person's still willing to live with the pain. They won't let go of it. How many of you have been in a toxic relationship you wouldn't let go of, right? Some of us in a toxic relationship with our own damn minds, you know, and we won't let go of some old fucking shit that we know is not serving us, but for some reason we fucking scared to part with it. It was almost like when I was doing mortgages. In order for me to start selling higher-end homes and doing mortgages on higher-end homes, I had to quit doing mortgages on the cheap homes because that marketing method attracted those cheap people. But it was hard to cut those $100,000 homes off to go after $500,000 homes because that's what I was comfortable with. Even though this was holding me down, it was an anchor in my life. That's what I was comfortable with, and it was predictable for me, so I stayed comfortable. But the second that I let go, and I actually went all in on the luxury shit, my income went through the roof. But it'll be the same way for most people. They don't want to let go of the pain. First of all, they've found a way to mentally numb themselves from the pain, right? And humans can do that. Don't believe me? I was with a Navy SEAL yesterday. A friend of mine was a Navy SEAL for 10 years. Dude, that guy went through a limited amount of pain, and if you ask him anything, he's like, I don't remember any of it. And it wasn't because he was brainwashed from the CIA, which I tried to convince him yesterday. I think that was very funny. I don't really want to push it too much because he was a SEAL. I don't want to fuck me up, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes my jokes are not accepted everywhere. But anyway. But I have another friend named David Goggins who's SEAL too. The same thing, this dude puts himself through an immense amount of pain every day. If you've ever followed the guy on Instagram, you're like, what? You did 4,700 fucking chin-ups in a day? You're fucking sick. I'm feeling you. Right? Because we've learned to shield ourselves from the emotion of pain, right? But when you draw it out of somebody, it starts to get a little different for it. And it can show them that, hey, this pain exists just because you're hiding it. Just because you're masking it with, like Bedros was saying, masking it with Vicodin and NyQuil every night, or you're masking it with whatever alcohol or marijuana or whatever the case is, doesn't mean that it's not going to be there tomorrow when you wake up. Doesn't mean your situation is going to improve until you stop that pain. So we're going to give them the opportunity to do business where we're going to say, hey, would you like my help with that? The person that talked a lot is most likely going to say yes. The person that put their hands up is most likely going to give you some objections. That's when we're H, help them make a decision. For me, I don't like giving discounts. I don't want to devalue my products. You know, if I sell something for $1,000, I know guys like Grant Cardone, who's a great salesman, by the way. I mean, definitely the leader in our industry. And he does 90% off all the time. And to me, that keeps me from ever wanting to buy shit from him because I'm like, fuck, I feel like if I buy it today, tomorrow it's going to be 90% off. I'll feel like an asshole. Because I'm definitely going to ask for the discount, even though I already paid full price, right? Because if you're offering it, I'm going to take you up on it. And so I don't like to devalue my shit. Now, I'm not saying you can't give a discount. Hey, if you take action today, it's $5,000. I'll knock $2,000 off as long as you make a decision today. Like, that's fine for some people. But in my business, I like to give people bonuses, right? It's like, hey, listen, if you make a decision today, not only will I help you with this problem, I'll also give you this product that solves that other problem that you have as well, right? I call it stacking the good. It's like, hey, if you thought that was a good deal, let me throw you some more stuff on top of that that's even better to make it a really good deal. So we're going to help them make a decision because people make a buying decision when value exceeds price, right? So I'm going to find out where their value thermostat is, where the radar that they're willing to kick in on that value, and then I'm going to stack it and make it too good of an offer to refuse. I learned this because last year I bought a McLaren. It's my first exotic car ever. And I thought I'd like try to drive cool cars. Like I've fucking been playing with them and wanting them all my life. That was a driver for me. I'm a car guy, you know, and I bought this McLaren. And I already had a Maserati and a truck and an Escalade, so I didn't really need anything else, right? I got enough fucking cars. But then I saw this ad for an Acura NSX. And it was a brand new NSX. It had 2 miles on it. 2017, this was last year. And my first thoughts were, I don't need that. And then I read the fine print underneath it. It said $40,000 off the sticker price. And I went, well, I don't know. What kind of it's not a bad looking car. $40,000. I wonder if I could buy that for 40 off and sell it for 20 on top of that. I started like crunching numbers in my head because now all of a sudden the value was so high, it was hard for me to pass it up, right? Well, guess who bought a fucking NSX, right? And so when I was at the dealership, I ended up negotiating like $45,000 off of a $200,000 car. I ended up selling it and making a little money on it after I drove it for a little while. But it dawned on me as like, oh shit, this is a prime example. If I wasn't even in the market for a fucking $200,000 car, but they're talking about this value that I couldn't ignore, so I bought it. You know, it's the same thing in our business, right? When someone comes to me and I say, oh, hey, it's $300 a month to join our continuity program. Hey, you know what? If you make a decision today, I'll throw this product that teaches you this, and I'll throw this product that teaches you that too. That's another $10,000 worth of value, and you're in it for $300 a day. It's kind of fucking stupid to say no, huh? Right? And every time they're like, yeah, dude, I'm in, right? Because I've made the value, I've made that $40,000 off a sticker price on that car come true with my products for them. Because people can't resist a good deal, right? Think I'm lying? Try walking in Walmart for a minute, right? You just go into Walmart, you're like, I just need 1 bottle of Windex. 2 fucking shopping carts later, you're like, everything was on sale. Like my wife comes home and she's like, honey, you won't believe how much money I saved. And I'm like, I have a feeling if we look at the bottom of that receipt, it's going to be a positive number, not a negative one, right? But she feels like she saved shit. She can't pass a deal. She's like, look, I bought these fucking chopsticks. Well, what the fuck do we need chopsticks for? We eat steak every night, right? Steak is for closers. And so, true story. We have a saying in our office, steak is for closers and Red Bull is for sales beasts because we don't drink coffee, right? Because that shit gives you bad breath and nobody wants to fucking talk to a salesman with bad breath. True story. You ever had a salesman with bad breath start talking to you? So, oh, shit, I ain't buying this. Not today. No, sir. I am not buying that Kia from you, sir. And so if you'll follow that process, it'll help you make more sales. It's real simple. My biggest talent in this planet, in my life, is taking complex shit and making it real simple. Why? Because I'm not smart enough to understand complex shit, right? And so I had to make it simple for myself, and I had to make it something that was duplicatable. See, this process I just gave you, not only will it allow you to go out and make more sales, guess what? When you hire a salesperson in your team, you teach it to them. It's easy for them to fucking understand and grasp too. They don't have to fall in love with the psychology behind it. They just got to follow the process, right? And it works. Like your average closing, once you get good at this conversation and you get the right questions down, so you're going to make some mistakes up front, right? Once you get the right questions down, you get good at this, you'll close 2 out of every 5 sales conversations that you have. It's 40% closing ratio. Fucking corporations would kill for that. But it's going to be about you going in and picking on their pain. Now, here's the second part. So I told you need to write down 6 to 10 questions so that you can ask them during that, when you tell them you're going to ask questions part, right? During the T part, to talk them through the pain. The next thing that you need to do is, I would recommend going to closercards.com. You can get a pack of closer cards from me for $10. I said I wasn't going to sell you anything. I lied. Sorry, Billy. So you go to closercards.com. For $10, you can get a pack of these index cards. The first 5 or 6 have a regular objection. I don't have enough money. You need to talk to my wife, that kind of shit on it. And on the back, it's blank, so you can write down what the right response needs to be in your industry, right? Because everybody's industry gets the same objections. There's just different ways that we handle them according to what our product is. But whether you go to Closer Cards or not, whether you go to closercards.com or not, which I highly recommend you do, but whether you go there or not, you need to write down on a piece of paper the top 10 to 20 objections that you get from your clients. And if you can't think of 10 to 20, write down as many as you can. Don't write down the objection and the rebuttal. Just write down all the objections. We can name some regular ones. I don't have the money, can't afford it, not ready to move yet, need to talk to my wife, need to talk to my business partner, need to walk my dog first, about to have to go to the bathroom, about to get on stage, need to make a phone call, got to consult with the President of the United States of America. Like whatever the fuck these excuses that they always make up are, right? We know those. Write those all down and then go ahead while you're not talking to a prospect and actually write the rebuttals down to that so that you have it, and then study it like flashcards. So that when you're asking these 6 questions and then you go to close them and make the offer, you're expecting these objections to come your way and you're already prepared for them. Then you're not emotional either, because guess what's going to happen? Those index cards are going to play off in your brain and you're going to think about the card and not the tonality and the human emotion, and you're going to be able to close over them because you prepared for it. Isn't it amazing when you prepare for shit, how it actually works out, right? That's called focus, by the way, right? When you're focused on solving a problem. And so have some objections written down. Then here's the thing, in the future, when a prospect throws you an objection you never heard before, and maybe you didn't even know how to handle it, add that to your list. And then later, when you're not under all the pressure, write it in case it comes up again, write the rebuttal to it. So that you're always prepared. Every time you get like a left hook out of nowhere, you're like, that's fucking weird. All right, I'm gonna write this one down just in case it comes up again. And then think of how you can handle it better. Because the better you're prepared when you show up on these sales calls, the more things you're obviously gonna close, right? Like when someone hits you with an objection and you immediately know what the fuck to tell them, just like flashcards in school, right? When the teacher held up 2 + 2, you knew it was 4. Right? You're in the back, ooh, teacher, right? Like you're in the back of the class ready to get it because you'd studied that shit with your mom all those years, right? And so, or all those days leading up to it, right? When you learned the spelling bee, they did the same thing. They taught you everything with flashcards, right? But then we get into the workforce and we're like, how do I fucking know how to handle these objections? And your sales manager goes, fucking deal with it, right? Because that's what they say, right? Look, you're a fucking salesman, deal with it. But if you prepare yourself and you study and you get ready for this shit, then when they hit you with it and you give them a good rebuttal, they go, man, I never thought of that. That makes sense. Okay, I'm in, right? Because you want to be prepared, because objections are like the struggle. Every morning we wake up, we're going to be struggling somewhere. An employee is going to call in sick. A client's going to cancel on us. We're going to get a charge back. Our family's not going to be feeling good, and we're going to have to take care of them instead of going and handling our business. Like some shit's always going to show up in your life to struggle. Same thing, objections are the same way. There's no such thing as the perfect sales call. There's always going to be objections. You might have somebody go, yes. Well, at the very end, there's always going to be objections. Why? Because like I told you, people are scared of making decisions and sticking to them, because then they have to suffer the consequences. If I buy your digital program and it doesn't work out for me, what I'm really scared of is my fucking homeboy going, see, I told you not to fucking waste your money on that internet marketing scam, right? Because we know that's what's going to happen. So they're not worried whether your shit works or not. What they're really worried about is whether they're going to go do the fucking work, right? Because I know you can give me the shittiest digital product on the planet, and if I just go fucking do what it says, I'm eventually going to make money because I got to make moves, right? Like, I'm going to do the work. Most people won't do the work because they're scared of embarrassment. They know that, so they give you some sort of objection, like, what makes you going to make me be the person that actually does the work this time? Here's my favorite, is when somebody says, well, I need to talk to my wife. You guys are going to love this. I always say, man, it's a great idea because your wife's a good indicator of how much of an action taker you are. What do you mean? Well, if you go talk to your wife, she doesn't fucking know who I am, does she? No? Okay, cool. So if you go talk to your wife and you're like, hey, I'm going to sign up for Ryan Stewman's course, and she says no, and she doesn't know who I am, that's not the belief in my program. That's the belief in you, sir. Then all of a sudden they're like, you know what, man, I'm not going to call my wife. You know, you're right. We just need to get this thing going right now. We just need to do it today. You know, my wife, she's kind of fucking naysayer. Like, but that's because they let their wife down. Same thing could be the husband. But that's because the wife will be honest with you. My wife shoot me straight. Like, this room full of people won't shoot me straight because, like, Stewman's kind of a wild card, right? But my wife will shoot me straight. And if I go to her and I say some shit and I'm like, hey, I'm about to spend, $100,000 with Billy G and his marketing, my wife will go, it's fucking awesome. We'll probably make $1 million from that. But if I was some kind of no action taking, habitual money spending, no money fucking making motherfucker, my wife would be like, Billy seems like a nice guy and all, but, are you sure that's for you? I mean, he is in California, we're in Texas. And she would try to find ways to talk me out of it, but it's not Billy's lack of ability. It would be my lack of ability that she's talking about. And so that, like, a lot, especially with dudes, I'm like, you should talk to your wife, man. She'll let you know what's really going on. Oh, no, I didn't realize that. You're right. We should just move forward with this thing. Right? True story. The greatest objection that I can get, because I already know, because I got the flashcards in front of me every day, right? As soon as they say I'm talking to my wife, I'm like, oh, this motherfucker don't know what I'm about to do to him. You don't know? He's going to go home and demand a divorce when I'm done with him. He's going to go home and ask his wife if she still loves him, right? And so you have to set yourself up to have these objections ready because they're going to pop up. And when they pop up, if you're prepared for them, then it doesn't pull on your emotions and it doesn't pull on the smell like a needy salesman side of you, right? Instead, it's like, oh, hey, I've already handled this. It's just a fictional card in my head. There's no emotion attached to it. So I'm going to get 5 minutes. Can I have 5 minutes? 2.5? Okay. Well, we'll just do this one time then. I always end every time I speak on stage by helping somebody with an objection, right? So what I want you to do is one of you, any of you, randomly, hand them a microphone, whatever the hell. I want you to tell me what you do you say your name, but what you do for a living, and what's an objection that you normally get. Fuck yeah.
Right now?
Fucking
anybody want to see him do it live? I want somebody who thinks they can stump him. Someone who's like, I got some shit. Stewman thinks he's a badass. Who thinks they can stump him with objections? That wife shit was hot, by the way. I'm texting my sales guys, you guys better use that shit. That was good.
Sorry, really guys.
Yeah, we'll put him to work now. Who's got something?
Billy hit me with the wife objection.
In the back over here.
I know I get a lot of objections about, I do business credit. I help people find money for their business using their EIN and not their social security number.
Okay.
So I get a lot of people saying that they don't have the money to get started. That's crazy, but.
It's not that you don't have the money. It's obviously that you don't see the value in having this credit score that will allow you to have unlimited amounts of money. Let me tell you about one of my clients. This client, he had bad credit personally because he didn't pay his stuff on time and he was struggling just like you because he didn't have any money. Meanwhile, what we did was we set his company up, brand new credit score, brand new credit cards, all of his money problems went away. So if you don't have money right now, it's not optional for you to take the other route because probably if you don't have money, you've ruined your credit and I can help fix all that stuff and all the money you need is just right around the corner. All it is XYZ dollars to get started today.
Boom.
Awesome.
Let's do one more. Let's get it popping. I'm like,
one more, encore.
Let's do it again. I think this is good practice. And I think the difference here is, as we were talking about earlier, in business, we don't practice enough. In basketball, it's so easy to say, I need to practice my jump shot. I need to practice my jump shot. I need to practice my dribbling. But in business, you guys lose. Where should I be practicing? This is fucking one of them, if not the most important. So we'll do a couple. Let's go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really enjoyed both of you. Thank you. The usual objection I get is
what do you sell?
Corporate cultural transformation.
Corporate coaching, okay.
Yeah, cultural transformation, teamwork.
Oh, cultural transformation. Okay,
yeah.
Gotcha.
And I usually get the man, I gotta talk to the CFO to be able to open the budget for what you do?
Gotcha. Well, in my experience, CFO's number one word that they love the most is no. So when you go there, you're going to have to get a no automatically, and then you're going to have to sell the CFO on why my product will solve the culture issues that you have in your company, which him saying no to things is probably one of the reasons why there's a cultural issue there in the first place. So here's what I suggest. Why don't you let me get on the phone with the CFO?
Shut the fuck up,
Nobody's going to be able to sell my product. If you know you want it, nobody's going to be able to sell my product to the CFO of a company better than me. So let me do your job for you. Just put them on the phone.
Ooh, that's what practice looks like. One more? Anybody got something else? Practice. Show up to the calls on Tuesdays. All right. He'll be teaching in Genius Studios. Okay, yes.
We got them moving a mic somewhere, or am I off there? Oh, yeah, we can take this guy over here.
Why you run the mic?
Don't listen to me. I'm just
one.
on the stage.
I have one.
What's right? All right, what you got?
Billy, that's great, the whole Genius Studios and everything, but I got this shit online. I can learn at home. Why the fuck should I fly to San Diego to learn? I don't need to do that.
Well, my answer is we offer both, but if so, you're wanting them to fly to San Diego. Okay, so we'll just go with that route.
All these people right here.
Well, I got you. Here's what I know. It's one thing to be antisocial and sit behind your computer at your house and learn as much stuff as possible, but that stuff's not going to work for you unless you get in with other people, because when you're in the right people at the right time, the right place, the right things happen. So wouldn't you want to be in the right room with the right people at the right time, the right place, so the right things can happen?
RSVP at that table back there.
That's right.
Oh, that's good
That's
shit.
right.
Thank you. Wow.
We'll
Just
see
pulled
you
that one
guys
out
at
of my
Billy's
ass.
event next year.
I pulled it. I don't know where that came from.
One more and let's roll.
All right.
We got Sky over here. Yes. Can we get a motherfucking microphone?
Yeah, let's get him a mic. Wherever there's a mic, go ahead.
Hey, what's up?
What up? Sorry, it's so dark right
It's
there.
dark
We
back
can't
there,
see
yeah.
nothing.
Billy, it's Brett.
Fucking lights.
Oh, what up, Brett?
It's not working. But, okay, so. Oh, it is? Oh, what's up, Ryan? Okay, I'm Brett. I run an ad agency called Misfit Media, and we help restaurants get customers. And probably my most, I take about 7 calls a day, and the most common question I get is,
A little bit closer right here, Brett.
they say that they just can't get started right now. They said, I don't make decisions on the spot like this. I can't get started right now. Can you give me till tomorrow or the next day?
Yeah, absolutely. I can give you as much time as you need. Later today I have also a call, the second follow-up call with your competition just up the road who's thinking about buying my stuff too. And so if you want to go ahead and move forward now, then I can put you in the list ahead of them, but I am going to call them next. And you know what? Don't lie about that. When you go into a market to do something like that, call all the competition in one area and tell them I picked you first because I think you're the best, but if you fucking say no to me, I'll go fucking right down the street. Right down the street.
Ladies and gentlemen, standing ovation for Mr. Ryan Stewman, the hardcore closer.
Thank you, guys.
Good job, brother. Appreciate you, man. Good job. Told you that man can sell. He can sell. I want you guys to think about that. And as you realize, as you fall in love with sales, as you go deeper into sales, you realize to be a master, to be a professional, how much practice it really takes. And answer yourself this question honestly. How much money are you losing every single day as a result of not practicing that? Everyone's like, what's the fastest way to double my business? Close more fucking people.